Peace. This is a meat and potato sorcery production starring myself, the Water Alchemist, and today's topic is weird tales. Now, when I first started dealing with the occult, it was via the Necronomicon, which, as I've said in previous videos, I really didn't understand what I was doing, but I did have a breakthrough, and I just didn't understand it because it didn't come in days or weeks or months. It came in years. And sometimes when you're doing spell work or magic, sometimes it will take years for something. And then after that, you take off like a rocket. Because the reason that this happened to me is because I took an intellectual approach to magic. Because this is what I was being trained for in college. So I took that same mindset into the Necronomicon. And if anyone knows anything about who it's connected to, it is one H.P. Lovecraft, who was a writer, a struggling writer. But basically what happened to him is they lumped Lovecraft with the Necronomicon because he had mentioned it and talked about it. But the Necronomicon as a phenomenon was already around. And I want to say something about Lovecraft. Lovecraft, who was unapologetically racist and anti-Semitic, but he was the perfect tool to get manipulated by Cthulhu and the old ones. Basically, they put the psychic current in him to write about them. And that's how they were able once again to live again and to be in this third dimensional reality. They used someone who was anti-Semitic and an atheist, and they channeled through him. And I remember that when I started getting into some of the spirits from the Necronomicon, I'll never forget what I saw, what seemed like a black large dog in my old house. And if you go by so-called Celtic or Scottish lore, usually if you come upon a black dog or a large canine, that's usually telling you that you're going to meet your demise. That wasn't so much in my case. Was I terrified? Absolutely. Again, I'm new to magic. I was terrified, but I regrouped. I was scared, but somewhat excited in a way, if that makes any sense, which it probably does not. I later found out when I was in this occult order, and there was a witch that I had a great magical relationship with from the Philippines. She said, I see a large dog around you. And I thought back and I started thinking, this is what's going to lead me up to this point. And it's this. That was my familiar. I just didn't know it. Now, how does one acquire a familiar? This is how it works. A familiar chooses you, or a deity or a demon has to give you a familiar. That is how it works. Because familiars and dragons share this common theme. They will protect you and assist you in magic. So, who gifted me my familiars? I can give you that short list right now. Lucifer and Hecate. I was given a panther familiar, a wolf familiar, which I had already encountered years ago. I just didn't know it. That was watching over me and wanted to see how good I was going to become. Or was I going to do what a lot of neophytes do? Magic isn't real. You get discouraged. I quit, and you go on with your life. He hung around because he saw something in me. So Hecate and Lucifer had gifted me with that. So with that, that's how you get a familiar. And they will protect you. And Hecate gave me a dynamic familiar. This familiar was in the guise of a unicorn and could help me with protecting me in the form of setting up force fields for me. That is her skill set. She protects me, protects the house, and is in concert with my other familiars. So that's how you get a familiar. They choose you, or you get them do what I just said. And I also want to make another point. If you are working with Topas, Topas are similar to aggregores and servitors. Usually, here's the key with creating a Topa. You create someone the opposite of your gender. And if I'm a male, I want a female Topa. And vice versa. If you're a female, you should want a male one, because until you are really trained in that, you don't know if they're your thoughts or they're the Topa's thoughts. But one thing about a Topa, they will choose their own name, and then they will become independent of you. They'll formulate their own personality. And with a Topa, you want a Topa to have all the qualities that you're lacking. Or you want that Topa to help you acquire those traits that are missing. And they'll help you with that. So that's something I wanted to share as far as weird tales. Everything you see on the surface may not be what it truly is. So that's something just for you to think about. So with that, that is your meat and potato sorcery for the day. I am the Water Alchemist. Be water, my friends. Peace.